All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation and blessings to the hopeful elect that is scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth, who are in hope of mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth. All right. As you can see in the title, who shall rouse him up? All right. And that's a line from the scripture in Genesis 49:9, which we're going to read. But before we get to that, let me show you what inspired me to do a video with that title. Is this here incident that took place in Cincinnati, Ohio. A man by the name of Rodney Hinton Jr., or Jake, he rammed his car into a off-duty police, or retired off-duty deputy, but he was helping at a graduation. I guess he was helping with traffic control, for a graduation. And a day prior to Rodney doing this, his son was shot and killed by the Cincinnati police department. The actual deputy was not the one. The deputy that he killed was not the deputy that shot his child, his son. He was just a cop, all right? And this is why I entitled it, Who Shall Rouse Him Up? Because this was a case of, I don't give a fuck, one of these devils gotta go. And he did what he did, and he has no remorse about it, all right? Now, I'm going to play this, minute and 29, and then I got another one from, what's this dude's page? The Philip Scott. He plays the courtroom reaction of his bond hearing. All right. And his face tells you everything you need to know. He didn't give a fuck. He walked past all those Edomite cops with his head up, chin up. Like, yeah, I did it. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? And this is the spirit of the Lord. All right? We in them times, man. All right? This is the spirit of prophecy, as we're going to show you in the scriptures. Let's watch this real quick. Now, in this clip, they don't mention that his son actually didn't have a gun. All right? His son didn't have a gun. And 2 hours after the Hinton family saw this, the body cam footage that they're going to show here of his son being shot to death, 2 hours after is when Rodney went and did what he did. So let's listen and watch. This is fair use, fair use, fair use.
A man is accused of running down a sheriff's deputy in Ohio. 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. faced a judge while dozens of deputies...
Look at all them devils. Look at all them devils, man. All Edomite devils. That's how I know this is the spirit of the Lord rousing up Judah. All right? This is the spirit of the Lord rousing Judah up against Edom. All right? Like the scriptures say. Remember, Judah is the one who all the tribes is gonna get behind. All right? And I'm not talking about the elect. The elect ain't gonna get behind this and do what niggas is doing online. Praising this man, this, that, and the third, which this is the one of those fanners the Lord is sending out here to rouse up the spirit and Jake out here to bring in this chaos. All right, to bring in Isaiah the 13th chapter, to bring in 2nd Ezra 15. All right, one people standing up to fight against another. This is what this is. These type of skirmishes and things that happen in society. All right, clearly a display of pure racism by these Edomites. All right. Okay, when they've been killing us for the longest. All right, and this was one Jake who said, "Fuck that! Not my son. You ain't gonna shoot my son down like a dog, and I ain't gonna do nothing." So he lost it. All right, he lost it and did what he did. This is the spirit of prophecy. All right.
The courtroom in a display of support.
I understand there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now.
The sheriff says the fallen deputy had been retired after 33 years, but was helping the department direct traffic for a graduation ceremony. Prosecutors say the act was intentional.
No evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him.
Investigators are pointing to an incident that occurred the day prior to the deputy's death.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right! He's got a gun!
Rodney Hinton's son, 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, was shot and killed.
Now, the other reports I've seen are saying that he didn't have a gun. You know, he didn't have a gun, but you know, still we're gonna see what comes of this. All right, but you already have a plethora of videos on social media of so-called black people responding to what this man Rodney did, and they praising this man. That's how I know this is the spirit of prophecy. The Lord rousing up Judah.
Cincinnati police, who say they were pursuing him as a suspect in a car theft, and that Ryan Hinton pointed a gun at the officer who shot him because he feared for his life. An attorney for the family released a statement to local media saying the crash involving Rodney Hinton occurred 2 hours after the family viewed the body cam video of Ryan's shooting, which left them distraught. The deceased deputy was not involved in the shooting. Rodney Hinton Jr. was charged with aggravated murder and is due back in court this week for a bond hearing. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
All right, that's that one. Okay. And then let's go to this other one off of this guy's podcast. Again, this is fair use. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any type of money. I'm using your video for educational purposes only. All right. Now he's going to show this courtroom, the hearing that takes place, and as he walks out. All right. And this is what I want, to display. All right.
How these police showed up in there, like trying to intimidate Brother Rodney. And Brother Rodney, I want you to see how he responded to it.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning. He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft.
Jake ain't got the look of remorse in his eyes, the look of I'm sorry, the look of any of that, man. Jake said, I don't give a fuck. He lost it. All right? He lost it for his son, man. See, the Lord is raising back that ancient warrior spirit back in Jake, man. As the title says, who shall rouse him up? All right? And this is one thing that Esau, Edom fears. See, they all acting all proud. When you look around, all them Edomites looking proud because he in cuffs. And they got his ass. Intimidation move. You know what I'm saying? And the only Negroes in there is this black woman, which I know she feel that spirit. The prosecutor, they going to show this nigga, and it's another Jake on this side, you know they feel that spirit, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anything as to probable cause?
Yeah, we're away probable cause this morning. I submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bignell. They will be the attorneys of record in William Jenkins' case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Prosecutor. Anything as to
As to bond, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. We understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. But he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. Justice sentence was 1.
So he was really a upstanding citizen in Babylon. He didn't have no criminal record. You know what I'm saying? His son didn't have no criminal record. You know, his son was probably just hanging around. You know, when you in high school, you hang around the wrong kids. You see he played football, so he probably was fast. That's probably why he was running, to try to get away. You know? But anyway.
He has no juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation. I understand that Mr. Hinton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video. I understand that there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large. And we just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything to allow the constitutional process to play out.
All right. Thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right? All right. The court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state that the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the
Could you
prosecution.
give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe, to be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue at MLK, I believe, at Burnett Woods, at the intersection, I believe, immediately north to the rear end.
And he feel that spirit in there too. See, it's going to come a time to where you Jakes that's on Esau's side, you working his system. You know what I'm saying? You assisting with locking up our own. Even if they are guilty for whatever type of, you going to have to pick a side. This is the time we're moving into. And we're going to show you that in the scriptures, man.
University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking an indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025, of the next Tuesday.
So the court will now set no bond until Tuesday, when we'll review the statute for continuing no bond in these unusual and very tragic and terrible circumstances. Where will the defendant be housed, and will he be safe? And I ask that because he was transferred, as I understand it, to Claremont County yesterday.
That's correct.
On my order.
That's correct.
And will he be returned to Claremont County until Tuesday?
It's our understanding.
And you have a safe environment for him there in Claremont County? You'll return him on Tuesday, May the 6th at 8:30 a.m. for a hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that it's not a bond hearing with us.
All right, no bond.
Thank you.
Thank you. We can hold him at no bond for 72 hours, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
Look how Jake put his head up and his chin up and gave that grin to all these racist ass crackers in here, man. This is the spirit of the Lord rousing up Judah, man. Okay? I don't see it no other way. This is what I see. And look at these devils. Pete. And he like, yeah. See, the black woman don't even want to look at him because she know that if that was her husband and they son, she would want the same done, all right, for justice for her child. Like I said, you Jakes that are on Esau's side in his system, all right, you've been over there, so to speak, making a living amongst these crackers, hearing the racism, going through the racism. You are going to have to pick a side very soon, all right? Because the way Jake is reacting to what this man did on social media shows you that the Spirit of the Lord is rousing up Judah, all right? You got these protests that have been going on, not only with the Latin tribes, calling for so-called black people to help them with their with what they going through, with what Esau is doing. You even got Edomite Americans wanting the so-called black man to get out there and protest with them. But Jake ain't been out there. Jake ain't been going out to them protests to protest against DJT. Jake been sitting them out because Jake tired of the bullshit. All right? But the Lord at the same time is rousing Judah up. All right? With incidents like this. And he looking at all them devils when he going out, looking them in their eyes. Yeah, I did it. That's the spirit he got on him, man. Okay? And when he go into the joint, he gonna be praised amongst the prisoners. Okay? He gonna be praised amongst the Jake prisoners, and they gonna protect him up in there, man. Okay? Lest they do some shady shit, put him in a hole, and send some COs in there to kill him or something. But amongst the population, they gonna praise this man because they already praising him on social media. I'm talking about Judah, the so-called black people. All right? We in that time, man. Let another young black man get senselessly killed out here, and he got a father that give a damn. All right? We in them times.
You saw.
He looked at all of them. All right? He looked at them, those in his vicinity when they was escorting them out. He made sure he looked them in their eyes. You know? No remorse for what he did. But like I said, we in them times, man. So let's hit these scriptures. Genesis 49. Let's get that one first. Okay. Genesis chapter 49, verse 9. It says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion. All right. And as an old lion. And that's what happened to Judah. Prior to being couched, all right, Judah was like a young lion. When you go back to the civil rights era, all right, during the time of Muhammad Ali and all those so-called black leaders who were revolutionaries, Marcus Garvey, Fred Hampton, all these so-called black leaders. They were like young lions against this system. But what happened? Esau gave these niggas jobs, gave you somewhat some rights, and you stooped down and you couched as a lion. You sat down. You was satisfied with what Esau gave you, and in the process of being satisfied, he still has been killing you like a dog in the street. All right. And you was as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? So that young lion spirit is being roused up back in Judah. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is the one that's rousing that spirit up in Judah. All right? This is how the Lord is going to get Judah to get cracking out here. Let's go to the book of Numbers. Okay? Numbers, the 23rd chapter. Down at the 24th verse. All right? Numbers 23 and 24. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion. And that's coming. All right. You just go on social media, any of them, Instagram or anything, and just type in Rodney Hinton Jr. And then you're going to get all type of reactions of Jake reacting to what this man did and how they praise him and how they looking at him as a hero. And that we need more Jakes to start defending and doing what he did when they take one of ours. This is what Jake is saying online. This is the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai rousing up that lion, that young lion in Judah. And then all the tribes are going to get behind Judah. Watch. Because it's prophecy. All right. Numbers 23:24 again. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. All right. Now, ultimately, 2/3 they gonna get out here. They gonna do what they gotta do, but they gonna lose. And this is when shit is commenced, and the Lord is going to raise up his elect. All right, that's going to really be like that young lion out here. All right, but you're going to have Jake out here with their tools. They going to get into these shootouts and things again with these Edomites and other nations. All right, because they're going to be emotionally charged to be involved. All right. Us hopeful members of the elect, we're going to wait for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to endow us with the power so that we can be like sparks among the stubble out here. All right. But you're going to have these race wars, these type of skirmishes happen to rouse up Jake. All right. To fulfill prophecy. Now let's go to the 24th chapter. The 9th verse. It says, I'm gonna start at 8. All right. It says, God brought him forth out of Egypt. The him is talking about Jacob / Israel. All right. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies. All right. The nations are our enemies. All right. And shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. He couched, he lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. These Idumeans in this courtroom, if they could, they would do him like they was doing Jake going back to the 1700s. They would be hanging this nigga outside in front of everybody, and all them same crackers will be out there talking shit, drinking, and putting it on display. This is modern day of that. All right? This is the modern day of that. And I'm sure at his next hearing, or his during trial, whatever, you may have more Idumean cops show up, all right, to show their support, to watch this man get hung by the system. All right? Okay, so that's that one. Let's get Zechariah 9. All right, because the Lord is raising up the Lord is raising up the sons of Zion, man. All right. I'll start at 12. Key point is here, the 13th verse, but then I'll read down to finish it out. Zechariah 9 and 12. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. And our true stronghold is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right. 2/3 ain't gonna turn to the stronghold. They gonna take matters in their own hands, like Rodney Hinton did. All right. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. All right. When I have bent Judah for me. And this how we know Ephraim, which Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. Judah represents the southern kingdom. Ephraim is going to get with Judah, and it's going to be on out here. All right. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. Who are the sons of Greece? The sons of Greece, when you go to Daniel, the 8th chapter, let's get that real quick. The sons of Greece is talking about these Edomites. All right. Here we go. The goat. All right. Daniel 8:21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, which was Alexander the Greek. All right. Which he had, the Grecians were Edomites. All right. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. All right. Alexander. All right. And it goes, when you read down, it goes into the four generals that came out of him. And then it goes particularly into Antiochus' surname Epiphanes. All right. This is what's happening. The Lord is raising up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. All right. Now it's going to start out like you see here. This type of shit. And Jake responded. But as that tension continues to build up in this movie of our reality, all right, which is the Heavenly Father's movie, as that tension gets to build up and more death happens on both sides, the Lord will eventually raise up the elect of Zion, and they gonna be like the sword of a mighty man. All right. Verse 14. And the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. All right. The chariots. Because once it gets going, it ain't going to stop until Yahweh Shai destroys this place. All right. 15. The Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls and as the corners of the altar. And the Lord their power shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. And they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. Talking about the elect. The stones of a crown are the precious jewels. All right. When you read in 2 Peter, I believe it is, a chosen generation, lively stones. All right. That's talking about the elect. All right. That's what the elect is going to get. Okay. So from here, let's go to the 12th chapter of Zechariah. All right. And we're going to start at I could start at the top. Yeah, let's do it. Let's start at the top and read down. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. So when these devils really come, like with that executive order DJT just passed on the 28th, to unleash law enforcement to execute aggressively the law. All right, to aggressively execute the law on Jake. This is when it's really gonna go down. All right, which that law is in order. So maybe that cop is gonna get off. Another cop gonna get off from killing that young man. But Jake gonna get sentenced. You know, they gonna throw the book at Jake. All right. But like I said, this is what's rousing up Judah out here. Okay. It says, and in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all people of the earth be gathered together against it. All right. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment and his rider with madness, and will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts their power. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. So ultimately, like I said, it's going to start out with regular 2/3 out here squabbling and fighting and warring. But eventually the Lord is going to raise up the elect to carry out the rest of the job. All right. And then ultimately, Yahweh Shai will be sent to end this man. Okay? Verse 7. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first. All right? That the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. All right? And you're going to see the tribes rally behind Judah in real time. All right? It's prophecy. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. Again, the Lord gonna raise up the elect to handle business out here. All right? And the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. All right. So I'm, let's move on to the next scripture. Let's go to Isaiah the 13th chapter. Okay. Isaiah chapter 13, verses 14 through 16. It says, and it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. All right. Who's going to be as that chased roe? These Edomites. All right. Jake ain't just finna let you kill them like you have done. That day is over with. And Rodney Hinton is the beginning of showing that. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to put the spirit on Jake to say, fuck it. Take one of mine, I'm going to take 3 of yours. All right? You got Jake all on social media saying that this is what eye for an eye is all about. So that spirit is out there, man. Okay? And it shall be as a chased roe and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people. Look at this in this courtroom. Majority of them, all the male officers were Edomites. You only had female Judite officers. And like I said, they felt that spirit in this room, man. They felt it. Okay? It's coming to the point y'all gonna have to pick a side. All right? Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Bible. Otherwise, we're gonna read on. All right? They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Joined unto who? these Edomites. You find yourself joining onto these Edomites, and you gonna find yourself, you gonna fall by the sword. All right? The Lord is making this separation between the nations, man. All right? The Lord is the one who did this. We ain't never, matter of fact, going back to, what is that, Genesis, the 3rd chapter? Let's get that real quick. Okay? Genesis 3 and, yeah, here we go. We'll start at hold on. Maybe it's the 4th chapter, the one I'm looking for. Okay, go one right here. But I the one I wanted back in the 15th verse. Put enmity between thee and the woman. But let's read this one first. Now this is the curse that the Lord put on Cain for slaying Abel, which was leprosy, right? I'm gonna start at 13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me, because the Lord cursed him with leprosy. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him, which was leprosy. Took his pigment away. All right? And as you can see in this courtroom, sevenfold vengeance will be taken out on these devils. They want to take out on Rodney. All right? If they could, they'd be in there beating the shit out of him, man. Doing whatever they could. Hanging him. Stripped him naked. Cut his rod off. All right? They getting back into their ancient hatred spirit. And the Lord is putting that spirit back in Jake. For the grand finale of the clashes. All right? The clashes of the 2 stars of the Bible. Jacob and Esau. All right? Israel and Edom. Okay? This is what's happening. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse. It's going to heat up. And it's going to be more bodies out here being put to death. More people put to death. Let's go back to the 3rd chapter. Here it is, the 15th verse. It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman. The woman represents Israel. And this is the Lord speaking to the serpent. All right? The serpent in the garden that beguiled Eve, which that was a man. All right? Which that same spirit is in Esau, Edom, these crackers today. All right? And that's in Revelation, the 21st chapter. All right, it says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head. All right, because it's going to come, the time is coming where we're going to bruise these devils' heads, man. You can't come back from a head wound. All right. And thou shalt bruise his heel. And our heel has been bruised, but now, what Rodney Hinton is showing you that the Lord is that bruised heel is basically healed. His Achilles is healed. Now he can move. All right? Now he can move and do what he got to do as far as you see what Rodney Hinton did. All right? So the time is coming to where you devils are going to get your head bruised. Ain't no coming back from no head trauma. You're going to be a vegetable. or straight up dead. All right. And this is what the Lord wants out here. Okay. So let's go back to Isaiah 13. Finish this out. 13 and 15. It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined onto them shall fall by the sword. Okay? You're going to have to pick a side in the very near future. You jakes that's out there that you know, you down with Esau. You're gonna be thrust through. All right. 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces. Whose children? These Edomite children. The Lord is going to put that spirit of vengeance in Judah. All right. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Okay. It's going to get that ugly out here. Okay. Thus saith the Holy Bible. Okay. Let's go to the book of Psalms 137, and we're going to close it out here. Okay. And this ain't nothing but what Esau has done to Jacob. Esau been raping the Israelite woman. When they had had us in hardcore bondage, they was constantly raping and taking our women, our daughters, having their way with them. Okay. Let's go here to Psalms 137 and 7. This is King David speaking about these Edomites. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. Which this is during when the Babylonians were sent in to take us down. Those Edomites helped them. Okay? O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. And that's what Rodney Hinton had, that look on, that look of happiness. Like, yeah, I took one of y'all's. Y'all took my son. I'm cool with that. You know? Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. So these prophecies are starting to jump off the page, and it ain't nothing no one can do to stop it. All right? It's going to continue to ramp up until full-blown war in America is going to take place. Race wars, class wars, all type of wars. But in this case, we're talking about race wars. All right? So I'm going to end it there. Lord will, this was edifying and exhorting to the hopeful elect, giving all praise unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and we on to the next video. Shalom.